Alright, evening folks. Tonight is May 5th, 2020. It's about 11:36 p.m. I got home from work a little bit ago. And as I stated last night in my last video, I was going to try to get a couple of these videos out this week. We are still going to be doing videos on the Sigils of Power at this point, okay? Tonight's video is going to consist of two particular Sigils of Power. The first one is going to be number 70, which is Yabam, and the second one is going to be the 76th sigil, which is Iyah. Okay. Now, Yabam translated means stimulate coincidence, and Iyah is translated means breakthrough. So we're going to start with Yabam first, talk about that sigil a little bit, and then I will talk about. I'll put a break in the video, and then we'll talk about Iyah. And as in the first video that I put out in the series, I will make sure that I put both the information on performing contemplative magic and results magic towards the end of the video. I probably will not really be going through over the processes I did in the first one, since if you watched the first one already, I kind of went through a little bit on that process and how to use the sigils at that point. If you've already been going through and started that work a little bit, then you probably already understand that process. So I really won't be talking about the process, but I will make sure that the information is embedded in the video. Towards the end, it's going to have step-by-step instructions on how to use both contemplative magic and results magic, okay? Also, I'll make sure that I provide information on pronunciation and stuff like that for each of the sigils in their respected portions of the video as well. And then before we get into all that, of course, as always, I do appreciate you if you are a subscriber to my channel. And if you are not, I do encourage you to subscribe, of course. There's a small bell icon here on the lower right hand, below the right hand portion of the screen. If you click on that, you will join my channel, and you will be alerted anytime I put new videos out in the future. Okay, I do, of course, encourage that you share these videos with people. You never know who may benefit from these as well. And if you like or dislike the video, by all means, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down and leave me some feedback. And I will see about getting that improved for the next video and the future videos as well. Of course, I do appreciate everyone who has subscribed and provided me feedback up to this point, because you do assist me in making this channel possible. So I do appreciate that very much, folks. Alright, so before we get into that, let me grab some water here. I'll be right back. Alright. And in addition to all this, I'm also trying to cook dinner at this time. And so this video will probably get paused a couple times while I check on that. Okay, so Yabam, to stimulate coincidence. And you might be wondering why, folks, I chose these two particular sigils to work with in this particular video. And that's simply because, if you're experiencing problems with your magical practice, as I said before in other videos, as well as the first video of this series, then you need to start looking at what you're doing in those rituals. Are you, and we'll kind of go over that really quickly again, are you making sure that you're putting your statement of intent in a present tense? Okay, You're avoiding things like future tense. Okay, you don't want to be saying things like "I will have" or "I'm going to have." Okay, avoid future tense terms. Make sure you put everything in present tense. You visualize. You also create your emotional alchemy that you need in order to during your visualization. Okay. Trying to think of the other ones that we talked about there. They'll come to me. Anyways, if you're doing everything correctly, okay, up to this point, but you're saying that you're still not getting results, then there's something, you're having a subconscious block for something, okay? Now, I'm probably going to keep using the scenario of financial stuff because financial blockages and problems with money are just, they're very common to a lot of people, not just people practicing magic. And so I'm probably going to go to that a lot. Of course, you can always apply what I'm talking about here to other things like relationships, love, and other situations like that. Okay, but if you're having problems bringing more money into your life, for instance, through rituals, and you're saying that the magic doesn't work, the rituals don't work for whatever reason, then the only thing that can really be left at that point is that you have a blockage somewhere, something subconscious that is preventing you from materializing the wealth. Okay, and as I've said it before, and I will continue to say it because it needs to be said. Okay, you need to work on yourself. You need to find out why why you have these blockages, how they came to be, and if they don't serve you, you need to get rid of them and you need to replace them. Okay, so one of the things that I'm going to tell you that you're going to be needing, particularly in this video, but let's say the next video that I do in this particular series, which will involve using sigils for financial gain and to readjust your life and whatnot, is you're going to need paper and either a pen or pencil, okay? Because what you're going to end up doing in your spare time is you're going to search yourself and you're going to try to figure out why you've been programmed with certain beliefs, and if they don't serve you, and as you identify these particular ones, you're going to I'm going to tell you how to go ahead and identify them and how to remove them, and then what you need to do in order to replace them. So now I've done this particular practice myself quite a bit, and it works for me. There's no reason why it can't work for anybody else. Okay, and the other reason why I chose these two particular sigils to give to you at this point, as opposed to talking about sigils of power regarding money at this point, and how to bring more money into your life through using sigils of power, is because if I provide you with the other information first, it's not going to do anything for you. Okay. You need to be able to understand how to make your life more malleable. You need to be in a position to not only identify what the problems are for you as far as subconsciously, but how to welcome transformation into your life and understand the discomfort of having those beliefs and understanding the need to want to change, and not just want to change those, but to need to change those. Otherwise, you're just going to end up having the same problems over and over and over again, and then you're just going to keep throwing your hands up, and you're eventually just going to say, fuck it. Okay? So, we don't want that. Okay? We want you to be able to be successful in your magical practice. Okay? So, now, Yabam is, again, it stimulates coincidence. Okay? Magic works through change, and change is made magically through coincidence. I personally don't really agree to that, though. But this is the heading that they provide under Yabam in the book. And that particular book, again, is the 72 Sigils of Power. Okay, this is what we're talking about here. Okay, I don't. When it comes to magic, I don't believe in coincidence. Being a chaos magic practitioner, we set up synchronicity in order to create our existence, to create our universe. Okay, so there's really what people call coincidence, we call synchronicity. Okay, and synchronicities are triggered by our magic, of course, the magic that we perform. Now, when you, again, as I've mentioned in the previous video, this sigil works in conjunction and association with the angel Yabam and Iyah, okay, which is the 70th angel in the book of Angels of Magic, 72 Angels of Magic, which is here. Okay. Again, we're not really dealing with this book. I'm just providing you with that information. So if you want to look it up at some point and start working with the angel and the sigil at the same time, you could do that at your leisure in your own practice. Right now, I'm just trying to give you information, okay? Now we have contemplative magic, of course, and then we have the results-based magic. When you're doing contemplative magic and results magic, you have two different divine words of power that you're going to be using when you're doing one or the other. Okay, so when you're using contemplative magic, the divine power word is Yah be me. Okay, and we'll have that spelling as well as that pronunciation in the video here. Okay, and it is used to create awareness of coincidence and or the reassurance of synchronicity. Now, when you're doing these rituals, folks, don't focus on both of those at the same time. Okay, if you want to explore both of those types of contemplative magic, do an awareness of coincidence first, perform the ritual, give it time, go through all the steps, leave, go do something, and then come back and then do the reassurance of synchronicity. You know, they're kind of two different things, even though you're working with the same sigil at this point. You don't want to be throwing all sorts of things to yourself all at once. Okay, so do them separately. Okay, same things with if you're going to be doing. Say you want to explore both contemplative magic and results magic with Yabam. Okay, let's say you wanted to see the patterns in the events of your life. Okay, like, in other words, what that would mean is, like, you're trying to understand how you got to where you are. Okay, obviously, mostly by your choices and your decisions that you've made up to this point. But, you know, what patterns, you're trying to see which patterns and events happen regularly or together or in conjunction with each other throughout your life, so that you can start seeing, like, okay, I need to make a change somewhere. Okay, so for instance, if you're I don't know, you're going out and you're selling drugs, you're selling pot, and then you end up getting arrested and you wind yourself up in jail. Well, I mean, obviously, there's a pattern, obviously, um, or you need to understand, like, how can I. You need to figure out a way on how to change that. So you want to be able to see patterns, and you want to be able to see events and change those for the better, obviously. Okay. So again, in the same session, I went out to contemplative magic and results magic. Separate those two. Okay. Again, the reason for Yabam is to make your life more malleable, or to make things easier to change. Okay, and there are other rituals that you can do. You don't have to use Sigils of Power for this. For instance, the second ritual in the Wealth Magic book by Damon Brand, you get introduced to 3 particular angels, and I believe it's called the Omnipotence Ritual, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, when you individually, those 3 angels, if you work with them, they can really cause havoc in your life if you're not careful. They can really turn your reality upside down. But by putting them together, they kind of keep each other in check, if they kind of make sense. And so when you're doing, say, the wealth magic rituals, and you're going from the first ritual into the second, you're really asking for your life to be able, for your life to be flipped, for your for purpose of good. Okay. Excuse me. Obviously, at that point, you're realizing that what you have in your life, it needs to be addressed, and something drastic needs to change at that point. And so, in that particular ritual, the angels do that for you. Okay. In this case, what we're simply using a sigil to make that change. Now, is that going to mean that if you do this results-based magic with Yabam, does that mean that tomorrow you're going to wake up and your life is going to be in turmoil? No, it doesn't mean that. Okay, but it is going to, you are going to have to take notice of certain things in your life, and opportunities and different things like that. They may become more readily available to you after doing something like this than they were before, and that's because you're applying a specific type of magic to make that change more readily to come about. Another ritual that is very similar to this would be, say, the Master Money ritual in Magical Riches by Damon Brand. When you perform that, okay, you're one of the key words of power in that ritual is Iyah, which is the 76 sigil that we're working with. Okay, and that translates to breakthrough. Okay, and that's obviously meant to remove resistance to change and different things like that. And we'll get into that sigil in just a moment here. So Yabam is going to be used in order to make your life or your existence or your situation more malleable. Okay, and the reasons why we want to do that is if you've been having a stream of bad luck, okay, like in money, for instance, this is what we're mainly talking about. If you're just finding it so hard to be able to get out of a certain job type, or living within a certain area within the city, say like a high crime area or something like that, then you probably need something a little more drastic to be able to change your reality a bit, so that you can get those opportunities to get out of those situations. And without making your life more malleable, you could just keep throwing money rituals all day long, day after day, and shit's not going to happen, because um, you've been stuck in a situation for so long that it's basically become frozen. Okay, or some people would probably term it as a cross condition, and you need to go ahead and address that. And Yabam is going to be one of those sigils that's going to help with that. Okay, so let me go ahead and pause this really quick. Alright, folks, and we're back. We're going to be talking about the Sigils Iyah at this point. Okay. Now, Iyah, again, is the 76th sigil in the 72 Sigils of Power by Zanna Blaise. We just finished covering Yabam, and this is going to be still the second video of the series that I'm putting out. Okay, so Iyah basically is your need to change. Okay, sometimes we are resistant to change, and Iyah can open us to the opportunities of being able to change. And that includes by removing not only our resistance to change, okay, but also enabling the power of our magic to break through into our reality to make those changes possible. Now, when we're talking about the need for change or resistance to change, actually, that doesn't necessarily mean just you. For instance, we all have family, we all have, friends, colleagues, whatever. We have a circle of friends that we're used to hanging out with. And one of the big things that often happens, especially when we're doing things like magical practice, and your friends may not necessarily understand what's going on, or your family may not necessarily understand what you're doing at that point, but they have this resistance to change, and they see that you're doing things. They may not understand what you're doing, or they just know you're doing something, whether you actually share with them that you're doing a magical practice or not. But they see that you're doing things in order to change your reality and alter your reality and stuff like that. And in some cases, they're resistant to that change. So, they might try to do an intervention, and talk to you about it. Or your family might do that, okay? Or, how many of us have been in a situation where we've said, hey, I got this great idea, I want to be able to start a business, or I want to do this, that, or the other, and you start talking about, what you want to be able to do. You start talking about this passion that you have, and all of a sudden, your family members are saying, what? You want to run a business? You don't know anything about running a business. How the hell are you going to do that? Or how the hell are you going to do? How the hell are you going to go to college? Now we haven't had a family member go to college at all ever. You need to stop stop having those crazy ideas or whatever. Sometimes that resistance to change that we have is not necessarily from ourselves, but from the people that are around us. And of course, they mean well, but they just don't realize that what they're really doing is fucking you. Okay, they want to keep you in a particular sense, in a particular thought pattern or box, or however they want to keep you where you are, because they're afraid that if you change too much, you might forget about them, or you might not want to hang around them or anything like that. And this is actually again common when we're doing magical practice. People don't understand, and a lot of us lead solitary lives. I mean, especially if you're a left-hand path practitioner, if you're doing a lot of path working work, and again, if you're not left-hand path, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But if you go out there and you start doing path working work with spirits like Belial and Lucifer and Amamon and stuff like that, and you start working with other spirits, Abaddon, and there's a lot of path working work with those particular spirits, those particular demon lords and whatnot, and they really change you a lot. Okay, and if your friends, they see what's going on, eventually you're going to lose them. I mean, that's all it really is. If you're serious about, if you're a left-hand path and you're doing path working and you're serious about it, you better be ready to lose family and friends, because they're not going to understand shit. And it's going to be a really big decision. Now, is that going to be the situation here? Probably not. We're just using Sigils of Power at this point. But if they truly care about you and they truly love you and they want to see you improve, in your life and all that, then they really shouldn't be standing in your way to begin with. Okay, if your whole idea is to start a business or to become successful doing whatever, they really should be supporting you. Studies have shown that a lot of people, they didn't pursue their desire or their dream to do something because of what they thought other people sometimes would actually think about it. They never shared their idea or their passion, and so they never pursued it. But they said, well, go ahead and write down a list of all the people you think that would actually say something negatively about you, for wanting to start a bakery or a deli shop, or just fill in the blank with whatever you want. Okay, and these people have written stuff down, and in most cases 5 names or less actually show up on these lists, and in most cases they were actually they themselves were actually on that list. It's I want to do this, but and then they actually end up talking themselves out of it, or somebody else talks them out of it, and it's just fucking crazy. So you need to be able to remove that resistance to change. Okay, and again, it goes with just everything else. If you're in a relationship, or you are always attracting a certain type of person in a relationship, say abusive or whatever, or the bad boy, you're always attracting the bad boy, and that's always causing problems in your life, and you're just going one cycle after another. You need to identify that, and you need to remove that resistance to that change in order to bring in a better person. Or if you're always stuck working a fast food job, what is it that's keeping you from moving out of that type of industry into something that can make you more money, it can make you more successful? And it's not to say that a fast food job is particularly bad. I mean, if your goal is to be a supervisor or a manager and own your own restaurant at some point. I mean, that's a worthwhile goal for a lot of people, but for others it's not. And so you need to figure that you figure that out on your own. So when we're doing contemplative magic with Iyah, okay, we have the divine word of power for that is Iyah, okay, and I will have that again in the video here, okay. And then when we're doing results-based magic, the divine word is Iyah, which is the sigil itself. Okay, so make sure that you're practicing with both. I do recommend that again that you go through both contemplative magic and results-based magic. This is going to take you some time in order to work through this. So you're not going to get through this in a day or two, folks. I mean, okay. Like if you seriously want to find out like what's happening, like why your magic isn't working, why you're not getting results, seriously do the work, okay, and start identifying what the problems are and start reprogramming yourself, because it's going to make a big difference. Okay, so I do suggest that you start with Yabam, okay, in order to make your reality more malleable, okay, and then work with Iyah. You can do them both in the same day. Just work with Yabam, okay, either through contemplative or results-based magic. Leave, go do something, come back after an hour, work with Iyah at that point. Do a little bit of work there and then come back. You can do different types of work in the morning and the night if you want to do contemplative magic in the morning with both sigils, and then at nighttime you want to do results-based magic. You can do that as well. Now again, I'll make sure that all the information on how to perform contemplative magic and results-based magic is in the video as well. It's going to be more towards the end, okay, so that way if you need help with the steps, all the information is going to be there, okay. In regards to, I'm going to call it homework, okay. Get that pen or pencil, get that paper, and since the next video is going to be on getting more money into our lives, okay, and finding out what's blocking us from getting more money into our lives, you need to start identifying what are your blockages, and using Iyah is going to be a great thing for that, okay. You need to understand the need for change, okay. You need to understand why you need to remove that resistance to create change as well. So when you're working with Iyah, I want you to focus on why you're having problems with money, okay. And if you have something that comes up while you're working with it with Iyah, I want you to write it down. For instance, if you get the idea or the thought in your head that money is dirty, okay, where did you hear that? I want you to write that down, okay. Write down money is dirty. Who told you money is dirty? Was it your church? Was it your pastor? Did the old man down the street, when you were growing up, was he like a very spiritual person? Did he say that it's more spiritual to be poor, because money is dirty? where did you hear that from? Did you hear it from multiple sources? Okay, write that down. Okay, identify those. Okay, unique. Okay, because you are going to identify those, and you're going to get rid of them. Okay, but for right now, I just want you to write those down. I want you to identify those, as many as you can. If somebody said that money is the root of all evil, where did you hear that from? If you ever heard of the term that money doesn't grow on trees, or time is money, anything related to money that may have created a mental block for you, I want you to work on that. Okay, and over the next couple days, I may not put the next video out for a day or two, but it will probably definitely be out before the weekend. But that's fine, because you're going to need a couple days to work on this homework anyways. Okay, so that when we get to that point for the weekend, you're going to have material that you can work with, that you can start identifying. You say, okay, I've identified all these issues that I have with money, and now I'm going to go ahead and replace them one by one. Okay, so with that, folks, I'm going to go ahead and call this video at this point. Let me go ahead and get everything processed and all that, and get it up onto YouTube. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, of course, leave them in the comment section. If I didn't explain something well enough, again, leave that comment to me. I'll see if I can't clarify things. I know today was probably kind of I'll probably rush through a few things. I do apologize. So let me get that video out to you guys, and we will see you in the next one. All right, so take care. Bye.